Welcome to the Jan Meeuwswen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from DeBruyn Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwswen.
And good morning, everyone. I am so sorry I wasn't here last week. I had that cold that's going around. I still have it, so might have to break for a cough or two during the show here. But hey, I am back. I feel much better, so that's always good. You can always give me a call, 616-395-1450. That's 616-395-1450 if you got a question. And if not, we're going to talk about Christmas at DeBruyn's, I think. First of all, I'm going to talk about Aid for Puerto Rico because that's my shtick. So, yes, bring in any of your unused medications that either you or your pets didn't use them all. Please bring them into DeBruyn's. I'm sending some boxes down this week. I'd love to send more if I can. So that's always a good thing. And also, the 2023 or 24 pet calendar is ready to go, and it's we do this as kind of a we kind of make some cash for Island Dogs and Save a Gato. And I did write on the back of the calendars, this year's calendar, why it means so much to me. But the calendar is adorable. We've got some of the cutest little pets in there this year. They're absolutely beautiful, if I have to say so myself. Nice job, Jan. Got them all in there. So, yeah, if you want a calendar, they're down at DeBruyn's. We ask a small donation. I'm not going to ask for $20 or anything, but a couple of dollars if you want a calendar. And it does go 100% to Island Dogs. I don't use it for anything. I just send the money down there for them to figure out what they want to use it on. Always kind of a fun thing to do, to get some money when you're opening up all the boxes. So that's kind of fun too. So if you want to drop off, some medications that you or your pets have not used, any antibiotics, flea and tick, heartworm, any of that stuff, I will gladly take. Syringes, either with or without a needle, medical supplies, bandaging supplies, any of that. If we can send that down, then that's something that they don't have to buy with their money. They can do more job rescuing, spaying, and neutering, and giving the people their low-cost veterinary care. So that's what's important to me. So let's get that stuff going. Oh, and just drop it by DeBruyn's. Go in, or if you see one of the guys outside, wave them down. They'll bring it in. They know what to do with it. So that's good. We're also in the middle of our 2023 pet food drive. It will last until the end of the year. And we take dog, cat, puppy, or kitten food. Excuse me. I have to keep coughing. And also kitty litter. Or you can bring some in. This is a perfect time to use one of those BOGOs. I know Gary Stevens is always talking about that. If you go to the store and you got a coupon for something, or see a coupon there, buy one, get one free. Hey, buy one, you use one. Bring one over to DeBruyn's for the Furry Friends Pet Food Drive. That would be so appreciated. Or you can buy a bag of dog food at DeBruyn's. We've got some on sale right now. Or cat food. I don't know why I just said dog food, but you can buy one at DeBruyn's while you're there, and just put it under the tree. Always very, very, very appreciated. And this is the time to clean out the cupboards. If you've got all those cans of cat food that you bought for your cat, and your cat has now decided it really likes this brand better than the brand you bought, I'll take the brand you bought. And it's not a problem at all. They'll find someone that really truly needs that. So that's always a good thing. Last week, the Coffee with the Birds was a big success. Next year in January, the next one is on the 20th, and this one actually will be live streamed. I think they've figured out the grant now, and they can live stream it so you don't have to be there. You can just watch it at home with your cup of coffee and sit there and watch the Coffee with the Birds. But it was a fun thing. You don't have to go to Hemlock Crossings to the center there at the park just on these times. You can go anytime and sit there and watch the feeders. It's kind of fun. Kurt's got all kinds of feeders and he fills them up every day. He's got sunflower hearts. He's got peanuts. He's got Supreme. He's got just plain black oil. He's got thistle seed. He's got thistle or finch mix. He has got everything there. So, a little bit, everybody, you'll always find something for somebody. Some bird will really love something. And if you watch them long enough, and I was watching when I had nothing to do and I was sitting at home last week when I was a little ill, I was watching the birds and I was watching this little chickadee. He was so busy. He would grab something and then go to the tree and he's on the bark of the tree and he's kind of pecking at the tree. It took me a long time to realize he was taking the sunflower seeds out of the mix and he was bringing it over to the tree and he put it in the kind of craggy bark of that tree for a snack some other time. I didn't know they did that, but yes, they do. I thought that was so much fun to watch that bird. That little chickadee was so busy. I don't know how much he was eating while he was doing that, but he was very busy putting all the sunflower seeds in that bark. And I don't know. I would think I've got some nuthatches too that go up and down, or they go. Let me see. Nuthatches go down. I think I'm not quite sure about that now, but they're on that bark of that tree too. So it's kind of funny watching. I'm sure that the nuthatches find some of those sunflower seeds. If they don't do it too, I don't know. So that's kind of fun. And I'll tell you right now, we've got a little snow in the forecast on coming Monday, I believe. I believe it's rain tonight, but I believe it's getting cooler on Monday and there might be some snow. It's getting everybody thinking about feeding birds, and Christmas time for some reason gets everyone feeding the birds. Got to feed the birds. Sunflower right now is cheaper by $5 a bag than it was at this time last year. It was $19.98 last year at this time. It is $14.98 right now. So that's a great deal. It's a great deal to stock up. Or if you've got a grandpa or an uncle or an aunt or whatever that likes to feed the birds, but maybe they don't always have the extra money, to buy the bird seed. This is a great time to buy them some bird seed or get a gift certificate to DeBruyn's so they can come on down and buy whatever they want. Although we've had a couple people that have called me up and I want to get my uncle some bird feed, but I don't know what kind he gets. Well, what's his name? They give me his name. So let me ask Ken. And Ken always knows. So not a problem there, folks. If you want to know what your grandpa and grandma usually get, somebody at DeBruyn's probably knows. We have a lot of good regular people that come in that get the same thing every week or every couple of weeks. So it's kind of funny. I watched Steve the other day out in the parking lot, one of our guys, and this guy drove up and Steve ran to the pile of premium bird seed and picked one up and walked and put it in the back of his car. And the guy just walked in and he goes, "Thanks, Steve." Steve knew already what he was going to get. Didn't even have to talk to him. So I thought that was pretty good. But we have a good idea of what they like. And also, Ken has got the bird feeders on 20% off right now through up to Christmas. And that is an excellent idea. This is the time if you want to get one of those expensive squirrel-proof feeders, or maybe a little higher class feeder than what you've got that might last a little longer. This is the time to get it, or this is the time to give them as presents. They make an excellent present. You can, and at 20% off, you can get probably a little better feeder than what you were even thinking you could. So that's a great idea. Great idea. The bird feeder sale, and you guys get a little feed with it also. That's kind of a nice idea. But yes, we have a lot of people buying bird feeders right now, and don't worry, we're keeping it stocked up. It's just kind of a fun thing to have going on right now. I love when people buy Christmas presents at DeBruyn's. It's always kind of cool. And we also have the fun indoor flowers, and they make such a lovely present. We have got amaryllis. We've got just the plain bulbs in just in great big boxes of them. So you can get white, pink, or the red lion amaryllis bulbs, and you can plant them yourself, bring them home. If you've got a pot at home, put them in, and you can give them. Or we've got kits that have the soil, the pot, and the bulb in it already. In fact, we've got a couple different kits, and we've got some amaryllis bulbs that have decided to grow, and we have potted them up, and the guys put them in a really nice pot and actually have some foil paper around it. And I saw they were selling those too this morning. So yeah, they've got lots of those things out there. So lots of fun indoor plants. And we also have the waxed amaryllis bulb. So if you want to give one for someone that doesn't really have a green thumb, this is one that you just take it out of the package, put it out, and you do nothing. You don't water it. You don't do anything. So that's always a fun thing to do. And a fun thing to get. And everybody loves to get something that's growing inside. Who wouldn't? That would be great. We have a couple of tulip bulbs left, a couple of varieties left. I know some people are still buying some to force them, and you still can plant them. You've got until the ground freezes, and the ground's still 40 degrees, so you still can get them in. So if you want to do that, I would do that before it starts to rain, or maybe right after a rain, whatever. But we still do have some, and we still have some daffodil and hyacinth bulbs. They're all on sale right now, so it's time to come get them. And they even might make it kind of a fun Christmas gift. So that might be fun too. And Ken also got a pallet of Nature's Window suet, bird suet, and he put them on sale. So that's another great idea. Grab some suet and give it to someone. We need to stop and take a break, but we will be back right after these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwswen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwswen.
And we are back. We've been talking about Christmas over at DeBruyn's. It's been kind of a fun time. We've got this Christmas list here that Butternut or Butterball made. We did have his favorite it was Butternut's favorite treat to Spencer. It was a snacky penguin this year, but they didn't make enough, and we ran out. So I'm sorry about that. Butterball doesn't get to play with his because he's on a diet and cannot eat anything like that. I give him treats when he comes up to my desk. All he gets is dry cat food. And he only gets a half a cup of dry cat food a day. So if he comes up to my desk and wants a lot of treats, he's not getting anything by his bowl. That's kind of a shame, but that's the way it is. He lost a half a pound. He's been doing this for half a year, the poor little guy, and he's finally lost half a pound. So I have added some aerobics to his daily schedule. So somebody's got to play with butter with a little wand with a little feather on it and chase him around the upstairs with it for at least 20 minutes a day. So he gets some aerobic time plus his diet time.
You should get one of those laser pointers. The cats love those things.
You know what? He just looks at your hand like, oh, I know it's in your hand. Why do you want me to move? So he's one of those that you really got to get to move before he's going to start to look at that. But he is kind of a funny little guy. So he is doing his exercises and doing his diet. So hopefully he'll lose a few more pounds. It would be nice, but he got a little chunky there. But you know, when he was found as a stray, and brought into the animal shelter, you know, and then when you're sharing a room with, he shared a room with, they were like 8 black kittens in there and another adult cat. I don't think he really got a chance at the food dish a lot. So now, and I used to have a cat like this too. Anytime you put food down, he is just right there and wants to gobble up everything just to make sure nobody, and he's always looking around. Is anybody else coming? And it's like, no, I don't eat that, bud. But it's kind of fun watching him. But he does like his little temptation snacks. He loves those, and we've got those. We've got greenies for dogs and cats right now, and they're on special, so that's a great deal. If you want to give a treat to somebody, that's a little special. We've got bird identification books. We've got bird seed. We've got bird baffles and poles, and we have got. We've also got. I didn't talk about paperwhite bulbs. They're the bulbs that you don't need to have a downtime. You just can plant them, and you really don't even need to plant them in soil. You can plant them in rocks that are above some water, just so their roots are touching water and not the bulb. That works extremely well. We've got some going at all times, and Ken has made up a little kit that's got it's a large saucer with some gravel in it, so you can and bulbs. So he's got that all ready to go. If you want, like a quick gift for paperweights, they're fun to do. They grow fast. Fun for the kids to watch too. And we also have the seed germination kits going right now. We've got a lot of different varieties of them. We've got an arrow garden, and that's what we've got going in the store. We've got lettuce growing in the store in an arrow garden, and that's a hydroponic growing system, and it includes everything you need except for the seeds and the electricity to run it. So you just add those too. But you could basically do whatever you want. We've got lettuce growing in ours right now, along with some catnip. You can do this all herbs. I see on TV they do tomatoes, a small tomato plant in there. The light on it is adjustable, so you can, as the plants grow, you can move it up and down. So it's just fun. It will tell you when to add water, when to add nutrients. It all comes with a little kit. So we do have that. We do have the windowsill greenhouse, and that comes with a little heat mat and 2 covered windowsill flats, and they're just like 4 inches wide, so they'll fit on your windowsill inside. I've done this one for years, and it works great for starting some herbs or whatever you may want to grow inside, or lettuce or whatever you want to grow inside. It works really well because it heats up the bottom. Because otherwise, you put it on the windowsill, that window's kind of cold, and it might not grow quite as well. But the heat mat underneath it works well. And we've also got the Ferry Morse indoor greenhouse, the Hydro Farm germination station, the Jiffy Pro greenhouse, and the micro garden. so that we've got all of these different types of seed germination starting kits. So, it'd be a great gift for somebody if they're kind of interested in maybe starting some seeds this spring. It's not just putting them in a pot and put some soil around them and then they just start magically. There is some know-how to this. So the seed kits are a fun thing to do. We've got a lot of our seed is in already. There are a few varieties that are not in yet, but we've got a good selection of it right now. I mean, we may not have every corn in right now, but we've got a good selection of corn in. So if your favorite isn't in, we probably have something pretty close to it that would be in. We've been busy packaging up all of this stuff the last month. So that's always been fun. And let me see, what else have we been doing at DeBruyn's? We have been joining the 21st century at DeBruyn's because we are trying to get a point of sale thing in there with a scanner so we can scan everything. We're just in the process of entering everything. So we do have one register that's up and going. We're getting the rest of it going, but it's taking us a while. This is not something that I thought this would be much quicker, but it is not. So we're all entering data. When we're not busy with something else, you can see one of us will be standing or two of us will be by one of the computers and busy entering in prices or whatever. It is kind of funny to watch it, but once we get it in, it's in, and then we don't have to worry about it so much, thankfully. But it has been a learning curve for all of us. It's not just me or Ken, who the older people. Some of the younger people are having a little more problem with it too. So it will come. It will come, and everybody will have it. It's kind of fun. The credit card system is linked up to it, so we don't have to enter that anymore. It's different. I will say that we're learning different things of how to do it. Okay, so other than that, hopefully you've got your Christmas plants up and growing in your house. Poinsettias, if you've got one of those beautiful flowers, make sure you keep it out of the draft. So it doesn't want to be where you open up the front door and a draft comes in the house and blows directly on the poinsettia or the furnace. We don't want that to blow directly on it also. It wants to be out of those kind of drafts in a sunshiny room, but not in direct sunlight. It wants to be kept moist, but not really wet. So I can't say you have to water every 2 days or whatever. You really need to stick your finger in. And if your finger's dry, then you need to water. If your finger's wet, don't water it. And when you do water your poinsettia, bring it over to the sink. Take it out of that foil thing and then water it until water starts coming out the bottom. And then wait until the water is out. It's not dripping anymore. Then put it back in the foil paper and then put it where it was. I did that one year where I did not take it out of the foil and I just kept watering it. And yeah, the water would just drain right through, go into the foil. And then I had to finally figure it out. And when you pick it up, it's hard to carry that foil full of water as it is. So don't be doing that. Don't be doing what I did. Take it out of the foil to water it, bring it over to the sink and water it, and then bring it back. That's probably the best thing. But yes, your Christmas cactus should be blooming. Mine's finally dying down. I had the Thanksgiving cactus this year. Both of my cactus bloomed way early, but they're finally dying down. I am trying to take off the last of the of the flowers, and hopefully it won't start up again. I'm getting a little sick of these things. They're shedding flowers everywhere on the floor. It drives me nuts. Um, but I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. We do have Christmas cactus at the store right now. They're the cutest little things. They're like in a 4-inch pot, but they are absolutely adorable. He's got lots of colors, and they're kind of fun to do. So you might want to take a look at those for a Christmas present also. We need to stop and take a break, but we will be back after the news and these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwswen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwswen.
We are back. There was someone on the phone line during that break, but they hung up. So, hey, call us back. We're still here. 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. So, yes, please do give us a call back. We were talking about the birds earlier on at Hemlock Crossings, and in your backyard, it's fun to feed the birds. And I know there's people that will go, but I don't want to spend all of that money. Oh, is he on the line again? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I've got a snowbird question. We're set to leave in about a week. When do I prune back my butterfly bushes?
You know what? They are the bush that you can do any time of the year. So if you want to do it before you leave, that would be wonderful. Or if not, it's probably best, depending on what time you come back in the spring. I find if I trim it back too late in the spring, it gets a little gangling on me. So you might want to trim it back right now before you leave.
That's what I ran into last year. I think I waited till I got back, and it just got lanky and long, and it took a long time the flowers show up and everything else.
Yep.
But I'm used to trimming it back after a good hard winter, and so early March is usually when I attack it. But I'm going to be on the beach on that day, so I think
gal, I'll be trimming my butterfly bush then.
Okay, I'll think of you, and then I'll laugh.
Okay, do that. But, yeah, get yours done before you leave.
All right. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Yeah, butterfly bushes are one of the most forgiving of bushes. I like to trim mine back early spring. He said March. That's a great time to do it. But actually, you can trim them if they're getting too tall. In the summer, you can trim them back. You can trim them back in the fall. They're really not the fussiest of plants to do. Not like roses or something like that. They're fun to do, and any time of the year, they're not that fussy. Okay, so what not to feed the birds? Don't just go through your kitchen and go, oh, I've got this. I will feed the birds. Do not feed them bread. Please do not feed them bread. What happens is they fill up on bread. They'll eat it, but bread for them has no nutritional value whatsoever. So now you've filled up their stomachs. They're not filling up their stomachs with food that they can use, and they're using up a lot of calories at night. They have to maintain 104 to 106 degree body temperature. You try to do that at 20 degrees at night. It's hard to do if you've eaten bread all day. So I don't want anybody feeding them bread. And if you feed like the ducks, everybody feeds the ducks bread all the time. I went to the day old bread store and I got a bunch of Hamburg buns or whatever, and the kids and I went out there and threw them out there for the ducks. What happens if they continuously eat this junk food is their pin feathers come in curly. And why that matters is they can't fly for any long period of time with these curly pin feathers. So that's why the ducks stay here all year round because we fed them so much bread. So please, no bread. That's my orders. Milk or any milk products, they're all kind of lactose intolerant. So don't feed them anything like that. And especially any baby birds, milk is just not the thing to give them. But cookies, cakes, donuts, again, kind of like the bread, no nutritional value for them. It doesn't work for them. Never ever use honey. Even organic honey harbors mold and bacteria that can be fatal to birds. So honey is off their list. And don't add. I know I've seen some recipes already to make like a little special cake for the humming, or not for the hummingbird, but for birds or whatever, made out of suet and seeds and oatmeal and things like that. And it adds honey. No honey for the birds. And raw meat. Well, some birds are carnivores. Avoid offering raw meat in any form, as it can spoil very quickly outside. And once it's spoiled, just like you don't eat spoiled meat, they get the same problems if they eat spoiled meat. And, it's going to grow that bacteria that might be dangerous to the birds. We don't want a bunch of dead birds because we put out meat. And also, if ever you wanted to attract a raccoon or any one of those animals that you don't want at your feeder, put out meat. You'll get all these wonderful animals that you never wanted out there. So don't put out meat. And potato chips, crackers, other junk food, no. And I know they're just too full of salt. Birds and salt do not go hand in hand whatsoever. No salt out there for those birds. So no potato chips and junk food. And I know, you get those sunflower snacks. If they've got salt on them, do not feed them to the birds. I don't care. Give them to your dog if you don't like them, but not to the birds. If it's got salt on it, no. If it's been processed in any way, no. Salt is just off the diet of any of the birds outside. So we don't want that. What you can put out there, if you've got some leftover fruit or some fruit that's getting a little soft or whatever, like grapes or melon or coconut, they love coconut. So
What about pineapple?
they would eat that.
Because I just dumped some old pineapple out the other day, and looks like it's gone. So either the squirrels and the birds probably teamed up on that.
Yes, they love fruit. And it's good for them. So if you've got some fruit and it's going a little bad, feel free to bring it outside and give it to the birds. And even the things, the tropical fruits, they like that stuff. They know what's good for them.
I found out they don't like oranges.
Oh, you can't find anybody that eat an orange?
Yeah, I had some old, blood oranges,
Oh, yeah.
that I wasn't going to eat them. So I kind of cut them up and left them out where I leave, the nuts for the
Yeah.
squirrels and the birds. And everything else was eaten. They had left those. They did not want them.
Okay, so
yeah,
they got a little picky.
they
so.
were not eating oranges.
Okay, so that day they didn't like oranges, but most of the other fruit they'll eat. So I always kind of find it fun, if you got a little bit of a banana left or whatever, I'll throw it out there for the birds. They seem to like that sort of stuff. We need to stop and take a break here, but we will be right back after these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwswen Garden. Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwswen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwswen.
And we are back. We were talking about what to feed the birds, besides good quality sunflower seed and bird seed and peanuts, and they like fruit, and they like coconut. Do not like citrus fruit. So no blood oranges, no grapefruits, but they like almost everything else in fruit. And so if you do have a little bit of that left over, that's fine to bring out. the birds are not the ones that are going to clean up your leftover pile. Believe me. They're kind of picky on what they really need to eat. And because they live outside and need to keep up that calorie count, especially in the winter, you can't just feed them junk food. So, you know, just be nice to your birds. It's always so hard when you have to pick up a dead bird outside in your backyard because it froze to death. So we don't want that to happen. When I was talking to Curtis a couple of weeks ago from the Ottawa County Parks, he was saying that, after Christmas, if you have a live Christmas tree, it is wonderful to put that Christmas tree out in the backyard. Your birds will absolutely love you. You will be surprised at how many birds will sleep in that Christmas tree at night, how many will use it as shelter. It is absolutely amazing. I have put mine out on the deck in the past and out in the backyard. It's fun for both times. It's kind of nice to put them near a feeder because if you've ever watched a bird, you will notice that when they fly in, they don't just fly in from God knows where and then just land right on the feeder. They usually stop and land on a bush, a tree, whatever, and wait for, see if where an empty perch is or where they can get onto the feeder and make sure it's safe. So you need those staging areas, and your Christmas tree can become one of those staging areas. But he said if you don't have a Christmas tree, hey, take a branch from backyard when a branch falls down, put it in a 5-gallon bucket and fill it with rocks so it's not going to fall over. It makes, your own tree, so to speak, and makes your own staging area for the birds to land on. What a great idea. So if you've got a tree limb that comes down, you can use it. Or, hey, if, the neighbors have a tree limb that came down and it's in the street, I think you could probably use it if you can carry it away. I don't think they would really mind too much if you grab that tree limb that they were trying to get rid of and use it for your birds. So it's your birds' staging area before they get into the feeders. And you'd be surprised how many more birds you can get if you have some trees and shrubs and things like that around where you have your feeder. I mean, they don't have to be, right next to the feeder, but, within 10, 20 feet. That's what the birds, it's kind of fun to watch them do that. They always do it at my house. Especially when I do the great backyard bird count in February, when I sit and just watch the birds by my feeder and count them, it's fun watching their antics when they come. What they do. This one stops on this bush and comes in, and this one does this. So fun to watch the bird feeders. I noted that while I was sick last week and at home, and I was watching the bird feeder along with the cat. The cat gets the prime seat. I get back behind him. But yes, he does watch that feeder like a hawk all day long. He just never left that area. I was surprised at how into that he is. So it's always kind of fun. Gives your animals something to do while you're away. Okay, now ice melt. We've got some cooler temperatures coming, possibly some snow. Don't be left without ice melt at home. It doesn't help you to know that, DeBruyn's has got tons of ice melt and you have none on that morning when you need to get out. So it's best to have it in the garage. You can get just a small bag or whatever if you don't want a huge amount, but it's not going to do you any good if it's sitting in our warehouse. So get your ice melt. Make sure you're ready for the times when the sidewalk is a little bit too slippery to walk out on. Our guys will gladly help pick out what bird seed, what ice melt that you need. Just give them a kind of a background, whether you want to, save your landscape, whether you got new concrete, pets, whatever, let them know, and they'll pick out the right one for you. And remember, and I don't care how safe it says the ice melt is, when your animals come inside have a towel by the door and wipe out between their little toes. Doesn't take long. They don't have that many toes, so wipe their little toes off before they come in the house. Otherwise, they come in the house, they've walked on the ice melt coming in, they come in the house and they sit down, and well, now you're basically in the kitchen and the kids are doing this, so the dog's just laying there. And hey, what's this on my foot? And those little pieces will get lodged in between the toes, and the dog will eat them. That's when the ice melt gets dangerous, is when the dog eats it or the cat eats it. So that's why we make sure we clean the dog's feet off, make it a game, make it fun for them. But that's got to be done every time they come in if you've got ice melt down on anywhere where they've been. I've never had I used to have a cat that liked to go out on a leash, but he would never walk anywhere near the sidewalk when it was winter. We always had to walk in the middle of the snow. So I don't know how much cats need it, but still, just to be on the safe side, I want those feet cleaned. That's the big thing. We do have the hockey puck type things that you throw up on the roof to keep the roof melted. They come in buckets of 60, I believe. I think they're right around $20. That's been a price that has stayed that price for years. Sometimes Ken gets a price, and that's what we stay with. It's kind of nice for we people that have to ring things up because it's always the same price, except for sunflower, which keeps coming down. I'm going to remind you before we get some serious snow on the ground, moles do not hibernate. They are busy all winter long. So if you've got moles, there's no snow on the ground. You can see where their tracks are, where their mounds are. This is the time to put those little poison moles in there. There aren't as many insects out there as they normally are. They'll be a little hungrier. They will gladly eat those poison moles. And then you don't have to worry about in the spring when the grass comes up that you're going to have runs out there. So get them now before the problem ends. Okay, Adam is throwing signs at me, so now I know that it's time to quit talking and remind you that Tuesday morning I will be here at 9:30. No, I will not be here at 9:30. I will be here at 8:30 for the garden party, and then I will be on that's with Dan. I'll be on from 10 until 11 on Talk of the Town with Gary for the garden hour. And then the most important thing is I will be back here next Saturday at 11:05 with the garden show. I've got them all right. Garden party, garden hour, garden show. We'll be here next Saturday. And that's 2 days before Christmas. Yes. So, hey, it will be our big Christmas show. And we usually talk about Christmas and plants. So that should be fun. My voice should be much better. And until then, go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwswen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwswen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.